Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila ונשמחה. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila ונשמחה. Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה ונשמחה. Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה, Hava נרננה ונשמחה. ורוחים, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים בלב שמח, ורוחים, ורוחים בלב שמח. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila ונשמחה.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Barry Silver of Congregation L'Dor Va-Dor, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to our celebration of Shabbat. Here we observe Judaism in a new approach that we call Inspirational Judaism, combining inspiration and spirituality with reason and science. You will hear later on in this service the Torah reading given by my son 6 years ago at his bar mitzvah and a speech that he offers sharing this inspirational approach, also referred to as cosmic Judaism, from the phrase that Einstein coined, cosmic religion, in which religion incorporates all the wonders and magnificence and beauty of science. And in his message, you'll hear him indicate that you do not have to believe in supernatural beings to be Jewish, quite to the contrary. Judaism encourages us to use reason and logic and to evolve our understanding. You will hear described the Judaism of the future from my son Ari, delivered in the Sam Silver Sanctuary, named after my father, Rabbi Sam Silver, at Temple Sinai, the temple that he founded. Thus, L'Dor Va-Dor, generation to generation, you'll hear 3 generations of our family sharing this approach. We'll also talk about the unprecedented historic events going on right now in the United States with the transition of power and the recent developments in the Capitol. And we'll share a Jewish perspective of what we can learn and how we can understand these events. And we'll also talk about the shameful sin of silence which allows such atrocities to occur. I want to thank Anne and Michael Herman for sponsoring the Shabbat, for leading us in the Kiddush and the candle lighting, and also for just being wonderful influences on our congregation as we celebrate Michael Herman's birthday today. And now, let the celebration begin.
Shabbat Shalom. These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames purify and renew, soften and refine. They brighten and make warm. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. The Kiddush is one of the central rituals of Shabbat. For many people, the words and melody of the Kiddush evoke some of their most meaningful Jewish memories. Reciting the Kiddush is a fulfillment of the biblical command to remember the day of Shabbat and keep it holy. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Shabbat Shalom. And may this crazy year that we've left behind, 2020, be followed by a great 2021, and make sure you are safe and happy this year.
I totally agree, and I would like to also just mention, I think that I want to thank Sharon and the rabbi and Arnie for the inspiring services. They're lively. They make us feel like this is what Shabbat should be all about, and I really appreciate what you all do. Thank you.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim, b'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
You don't need to look back after a stressful week. Just get yourself on track, 'cause it's Shabbat. Come dance with me. No smartphones, no technology. I said, Shabbat, come dance with me. Once again, it's Friday night. Smell the challah baking, see the candlelight. Put on your finest clothes, let your soul take flight. You know that as Jews we get together for our weekly refresher. After 6 days, God rested from creation. Now it's what we keep. Get on your skull cap, spend time with family, and even take a nap. 'Cause it's Shabbat, come dance with me. Let's go and sing L'Chadodi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbat, come dance with me.
Raphael Warnock quoted Heschel, who said that prayer should be subversive. What that means is that every one of us gets into a rut, a habit of doing things a certain way. We must subvert our normal way of acting to act on a higher level, to be spiritualized. Heschel talked about radical amazement. Look at this beauty around us. Look at this magnificent earth that we have, which we celebrate every Shabbat when we celebrate creation. It's magnificent. It's joyous. And Heschel said that we should have an attitude of radical amazement towards nature, towards human nature, towards the miracles that exist within our body and the world and all living things. We don't have to believe in irrational thinking or a supernatural being. We can believe that the natural is super, and it can inspire us to lead a life of awe and wonder and reverence, and as he said, radical amazement. Let us leave our comfort zone, not only as individuals, but as a nation, in order to do better and to make this a brand new year. And let us maximize and take advantage of all the promise and all the potentialities that lie within ourselves and within this nation once we are free to untap our potential. And now let us enter into moments of prayer.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malkuto Leolam Va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
גדלו מעשיך, מאור עמקו מחשבותיך. Hallelujah. Oh, how great are your designs, cosmic artist beyond space and time, life and love, the rainbow and the dove, blessings beyond. Hallelujah. Magadlu Masechaya, מאור עמקו מחשבותיך. Let everything that lives thank the source of life. Let everything that is bless the source of life. Neshama tehallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallelujah, hallelujah. Kol haneshama tehallelujah, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Magadlu Masechaya Kol HaNeshama Tehaleluya Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
There was once a film crew on a desert island, and they were going to shoot a movie the next day. But the shaman said, "No, bad idea, rain tomorrow." The film director ignored him, but lo and behold, it rained the next day. They were going to start filming the next day, and he decided to ask the shaman. He said, "What do you think?" The shaman said, "Rain, very windy tomorrow." Sure enough, the next day it was a storm, rainy and windy, just as he predicted. The film director wanted to know what he thought the next time he tried to film, so he was going to film the next day, but he couldn't find the shaman. They searched all over. A week later, they finally found him, and they brought him over to the set. And the director said to him, "Tell me, what's going to be the weather like tomorrow?" He said, "Me not know, radio broken." You see, a lot of times religious leaders try to act as if they know something that's supernatural, that they have special access to a deity. It's all nonsense. They have no special access. There is nobody out there to call upon. But what is remarkable is the radio. A radio is a device that is really incredible. We should have radical amazement towards the radio and TV and computer and planes and cars and rockets to the moon. All these things are miracles of the human mind. And as weather forecasters can do, they can also help us predict the future. And isn't that what we're all about today? As we start this new year and a new administration, we're trying to figure out the future and try to plan for it, because if we do, the human ingenuity that caused us to invent a radio or a computer can cause us to do wonders in our lives and in the world. Let us just explore and marvel at the potential that we have within us to create ripples of hope and potentialities of change as we enter into a few moments of silent meditation.
May the source of strength, oh bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our life a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu, Mekor habracha lamotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita charu. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita hu. Torah ora, Torah ora, Hallelujah. Torah ora, Torah ora, Hallelujah. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita hu. Yisrael, Yisrael, ve'oraita hu.
This morning I had the good fortune of being out on the tennis court with my son Ari, and I was so thrilled to see him hit really beautiful forehands and backhand ground strokes. I was so proud of him. It reminded me of how proud I was when he read the Torah 6 years ago on his bar mitzvah. But not only reading from the Torah, but what he said. He had the courage to go in front of the congregation and to say his own thoughts, to speak his mind, and to say, you do not have to believe in God to be Jewish, and to declare that he did not think that this belief was required. Many people said, oh, they were surprised, they were shocked. But isn't that what we should be encouraging our children to do, to speak freely and to think freely? And I was so proud of him that day. And so I've preserved his bar mitzvah passage, and we're going to hear it today. I might also say, I'm also thrilled to be the proud father of Brandon. His backhand isn't quite as good as Ari's, but what he can do with a basketball is truly remarkable. And they're both scholars. They both get along with people so well, and they have integrity and love for others. I'm so proud of them, and I really want to share Ari with all of you. The blessing before the Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Vayomer Moshe el Elohim, and Moses said to God, Hinei Anochi ba'er b'nei Yisrael. When I go to the children of Israel, and I tell them that the God of your father sent me to you. I'm holy, Ma Shemot. And they ask me, what is his name? Ma Arahem. What do I say to them? Vayomer Elohim er Moshe. And God said to Moses, Ehyeh asher ehyeh. I am what I am. Vayomer kol tomar b'nei Yisrael. Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, Ehyeh shalachani alechem. Ehyeh sent me to you. Vayomer od Elohim er Moshe. God continues speaking to Moses. Kol tomar er b'nei Yisrael. When I go to thus you shall say to the children of Israel, Adonai Elohei Avotechem, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, shalachani alechem. The God of your fathers, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob sent me to you. Zeh shemi la'olam. V'zeh zikri L'Dor Va-Dor. This is my name forever. This is how it will be remembered from generation to generation. Lech v'asavta et ziknei Yisrael. Gather the elders of Israel. V'amar ta'alachem, Adonai Elohei Avotechem yir'ah elai. And tell them that the God of your fathers appeared to me. Elohei Abraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, v'mor. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob said, Pakod pakadati lechem ve'et ke'asu lechem b'Mitzrayim. I have taken notice of what's going on in the land of Egypt. V'omar a'adlechem me'ani Mitzrayim. And I will take you out of the suffering of Egypt. And echet ha'kna'ani, v'ha'hiti, v'ha'emohi, v'ha'perizi, v'ha'hivi, v'ha'yebusi. I will take you to the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, and the Jebusites. And echet tzavat halav u'dvash, to a land flowing with milk and honey.
Blessings.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'hayei olam nata betocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Many people worry that God seems to be missing from society and our lives. They claim that this is the reason why we have so many problems in today's world. Others say God is pure myth and a rather violent one, so we're better off without him. So I began to wonder, do we need to believe in God to be Jewish? Do we need to believe in God at all in order to be good people? With the recent shootings in Paris, I asked another question. Will the world be better off if no one has ever heard of God? Most kids don't think much about God and religion. When your dad's a rabbi and you're stuck studying for a bar mitzvah, it's hard not to think about such things. It's not easy having a dad as a rabbi. Most kids get to go on fun trips with their family. When your dad's a rabbi, the only type of trip you get to go on is a guilt trip. It's true that with my father as a rabbi, I didn't have to travel for Hebrew lessons. But with your Hebrew tutor at home, you can never catch a break. I could wake up at 3 in the morning and my dad would say, "Hey, why don't you go study some Hebrew?" Well, I'm glad I'm Jewish. It's not always easy. A priest, a minister, and a rabbi once went on a retreat in the woods. They said, just for fun, let's try to convert a bear to our religion. The priest comes back battered and bruised and explains that the bear wasn't interested, so he threw some holy water on him and now he's a Catholic. The minister was also injured and explained that the bear wasn't interested, but he read some verses from the Bible and now the bear's a Catholic. The rabbi comes back crawling and in much worse shape than the others, and they say, "What happened to you?" The rabbi says, "In hindsight, it might not have been a good idea to begin with a circumcision." Yes, it is often painful to be Jewish. Throughout history, many Jews were tortured, beaten, and killed because they were Jewish. And I wondered if it was worth it in defense of a God that seemed to defy logic. My Torah reading helped me to answer these questions. Today, we read from Shemot, or Exodus in English, the second book of the Torah. In today's Torah reading, we find out God's name, well, almost. Like everything else about God, even his name is a mystery, which tells us a lot. But before we get to the fun part about God's name, let's look at what happens first. A bush is aflame and not consumed. In other words, it doesn't burn up. Moses is fascinated, so he comes closer and hears a voice coming out of the bush. Many people think this event was bush shared, or planned in advance by God. But it might not have happened if Moses did not take the time to notice this miracle. Most people who saw a burning bush in a dry desert wouldn't have thought much of it and would have kept walking to avoid getting burned to death. According to the Torah, Moses paused, reflected, and took off his shoes to marvel at the sight because he considered this to be holy ground. This was not the first time Moses noticed things others didn't. In Egypt, while living in a palace, he heard the cries of the oppressed slaves and noticed their suffering, while others in the palace in Egypt pretended not to hear the cries of the Hebrews. The other day, I was playing frisbee golf with my dad and Brandon, and I saw for the first time our banana tree with a bunch of bananas hanging from it. I have seen lots of trees in my life and didn't stop to think about them, but I have just discovered the joy of banana smoothies, which my mother makes so well. And now I marveled at the sight of bananas growing from a tree, and I couldn't wait to try them in a smoothie. And I thought, what would the world be like without trees? These bananas are miracles. Just because we eat them every day makes them no less a miracle. This is important, so I will say this again. Just because we eat food that grows out of the ground every day does not make them any less of a miracle. To be Jewish means to take the time to notice and give thanks for such things. Our ancestors considered the entire earth to be holy ground, especially when food grows out of it. They made pilgrimages and held festivals to give thanks for this miracle. This is why, for my Mitzvah project, I'm collecting petitions to deliver to our county government, urging them to protect the agricultural reserve and to stop selling our precious heritage to developers who pave over open space, which is the buffer zone for the Everglades, a source of our local food supply, a boost to our economy, and our literal hedge against global warming. This land and our planet should be protected for me and my friends and all future generations. So if you want to, you can go sign the petitions, which will be at the party, and you can help at a very noble cause to protect the agricultural reserve. Because Moses took the time to see and listen, he heard a voice coming out of the bush. Being a good Jew, he was curious and asked a lot of questions. Why me? What if the people don't believe me? And by the way, what's your name? But Moses did not get a straight answer. The voice simply says, I am what I am. But Moses thinks, gee whiz, thanks for clearing that up. This tells us a lot. The creative power of the universe cannot be contained in a tree, a stone, a person, a name, or even a holy book. I am is not a who or a what, it's a process. I can relate to that because it's consistent with science. My passage helps further to explain the concept of God and how flexible it is. In my Torah reading, it describes God as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. I asked my dad, why doesn't the Torah just say God, instead of repeating the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, when every letter was written painstakingly by hand by a scribe? He told me that the rabbis interpreted this to mean that the concept of God comes from the human mind, and thus was always changing throughout the generations. And if we allow the discoveries of science to shed light on the concept, it will change in radically new and more accurate ways, or perhaps disappear completely for some people. Although the Torah is very advanced compared to other myths of the time, it was written thousands of years ago, and the earlier writers often described God as harsh and cruel if you caught him in a bad mood, ordering genocide and death for all types of minor crimes. The God of the Bible describes the sun and the moon as two lights in the sky, when today we know them that the moon merely reflects light, and it lists the bat as a bird, not a mammal, which shows us that an all-powerful creator didn't write this. The God of the Torah even tells parents they should stone a disrespectful child, which is why I'm glad my dad's a reformed rabbi. If he took this stuff literally, I never would have survived to reach my 13th birthday. Nor would some of my friends. Sorry, guys. Does that mean that we should reject all conceptions of God and Judaism itself? When we were little, we made mistakes and do bad things, but our parents don't get rid of us, although they may have wanted to. When my dad coached me in basketball, I didn't always listen to everything he said, but he never traded me off the team or got rid of me. We cherish the Torah not because it is perfect, but because it tries to perfect us and reflects our people's first written effort to conceive of powers greater than our own and their vision of justice and peace, which still inspires people, such as Martin Luther King Jr., who called himself as a modern-day Moses. In my Torah reading, Moses hears a voice urging him to take the side of the oppressed and liberate the Jews. Moses left the comfort of the palace to fight for the freedom of others. Any time we leave our comfort zone to help others or see the miracles in the world, we follow in the footsteps of Moses, no matter what we think about God or who he is. So to answer my initial question, do you have to believe in God to be Jewish? The answer is no. As long as you take the time to listen to the inner voice urging you to seek justice, hear the cry of the oppressed, and take the time to see the miracles all around us, then you are 100% Jewish, regardless of what you call the creative power that is greater than all of us, yet within all of us. And if you ask questions of that inner voice, as Moses and any good scientist does, then you are even more Jewish. God forbid we should turn off our rational minds and stop asking questions. I look forward to accepting adult responsibilities in the Jewish community, but don't expect me to give up the joys of childhood anytime soon. So let's go out and try to solve the world's problems. But before you do, please join me in having some fun at the party. Now that you've sat through my really long speech, you deserve it.
It's a great thrill for me as a father to share with you the video of my son Ari and his bar mitzvah 6 years ago and his inspirational message. It's very important what we learn in the Torah reading, that when asked God's name, there's no reply. There's no reply with a name. The concept of God is not like you or me. God is not an entity, a personage, a personality. God is a process. It's a creative process at work in the universe that manifests itself in all the wonders and glories of the universe. And the consciousness of this creative force is within all of us. We are the way the world and the universe knows itself. We are the way the universe hears and sees and feels and experiences itself. You might wonder, why was Why was his face half dark and half light in the video? Is he a really horrible cinematographer? Well, perhaps I am, but actually there's a method to my madness. Because this is the month of January, and we remember the Roman god Janus, for whom it was named. Janus had two faces, one looking to the past, the other to the future. The dark part of May was the one looking to the 4 years of the past, a very dark period of history, culminating in the actual takeover of the Capitol by terrorists and insurrectionists led on by our president. They didn't protest against anything other than democracy itself and America. Fortunately, it was put down. The other half is the light. That represents the new way of looking at things, a new administration. It's up to all of us to work with this administration now that the same party is in control. And we need to look and hold their feet to the fire and make sure that they live up to the ideals of their party. But now we have a chance, if we all support them, for universal health care, reasonable laws protecting us from gun violence, reproductive freedom for women, and equal rights for women and for blacks, and civil rights for all people. The restoration of decency, dignity, and democracy, fairness, honesty, truth, and yes, science to government. This is a really exciting time to be alive as we will write the next chapter of human history at this inflection point. We're excited. But especially we're excited that we have an administration that not only knows science, but understands that one of the most terrible, formidable challenges in the history of humanity presents itself now, not with the coronavirus. We do have an antidote, a virus, a vaccine to that, and hopefully with this administration, it'll be administered properly and quickly so that we can be saved from this scourge. But there's something far worse. And the coronavirus is a shot across the bow warning us that if you ignore science, the consequences are catastrophic. Climate change, the death of the planet. We now have an administration who recognizes the seriousness of this threat, and we can work together with them. You know, it's really exciting to see not only a new administration, but for the first time in history, an African-American elected senator in Georgia. And for the first time in history, on the same day, a Jewish person elected as a senator in Georgia. The two of them will work together. Their names are pure Hebrew. Raphael Warnock. Raphael means God will heal or cure. And perhaps if we tap into the godliness, the healing spirit within us, we can heal the wounds of this country and reach out to people on the other side of the aisle and join together as one. Jonathan Osaf, his name is pure Hebrew. It means God gave us the intelligence, the will, the love, the capacity to make this world a paradise on earth. We don't need to worry about getting into heaven in some other place. This world, this earth, our lives can be a heaven on earth if we live them properly. Raphael Warnock quoted a great Jewish rabbi on his acceptance speech, Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who said, "I feel like I'm praying with my feet," when he marched for civil rights. How beautiful that an African-American quotes a rabbi and is elected the same day as a Jew. Perhaps we can now reestablish and reconnect with our African-American brothers and sisters. We marched together for civil rights. Jewish blood was spilled fighting for the right of blacks for equality. Martin Luther King said that if you want to be a person who is sensitive to others and believes in equality, you must be a Zionist. He supported the state of Israel. And we call upon our African-American brothers and sisters, including the Squad, who claim to believe in civil rights, to join in supporting the greatest bastion of civil rights in the Middle East, Israel. Let us join together. Let us pray with our feet. Martin Luther King was invoked also because Raphael Warnock is the rabbi as the pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church, which was the place where Martin Luther King was also the pastor. He was born a year after King's death. But now, with him as the successor of Martin Luther King, we can go from a mad king that we had as a president to the teachings of Martin Luther King. We can see the Capitol, which was a place of lawmakers, converted into lawbreakers, revert back to lawmakers once again. And Martin Luther King told us about the sin of silence. He said the world is dangerous not just because of the evildoers, but all the people that sit back and watch and do nothing. The lesson of the past. We wonder, how is it that our capital could have been taken over? Because for 4 years, transgressions and horrors and illegalities and improprieties were going on, and people didn't do anything about it. Ministers were told, be quiet. Keep it down. We don't want to hear about these things. Talk about prayers and talk about religion. This is a religious obligation to speak up so that these types of atrocities don't start. It was Joachim Prinz, great rabbi who fled Nazi Germany. He said the lesson that he learned being a refugee from the Nazis is that the most shameful, the most disgraceful, the most horrible sin of all is the sin of silence. And he said Germany became a nation of onlookers, willing to sit back while horrible things were happening. And he told America, don't be a nation of onlookers. Speak up, because the greatest threat to American democracy, as we've seen, is when good people do nothing. We're really thrilled that blacks and Jews can work together to reestablish an era of peace and equality and justice. And when we work together, we show that all people can work together. And I hope religion will be used as a way to build bridges of understanding and knock down walls of separation. We have gone in government now from a harasser to Harris, from somebody who kept us in suspense to the wisdom of Joseph with Joseph Biden, Joseph in the Bible who could see into the future and was able to help make sure that we avoided catastrophes that were just around the corner. I'm also thrilled as the uncle of people who are serving our military, who has seen firsthand the incredible skill and brains and ingenuity and dedication and devotion and the physical ordeals that they endure in order to keep us safe. We're thrilled that we will have a commander-in-chief that will not send them into harm's way for some crazy irrational reason. These people who are the pride and joy of America, who give their lives and sacrifice everything for us, they deserve better. And now they get a president who will do the wonderful things that our country is known for and will restore dignity to our capital. You know, we also saw what Ari was talking about. Ari said in his bar mitzvah, you don't need to believe in God to be Jewish. We Jews challenge everything. We even argued with God. We challenge the concept of God. We wrestle with God, which is what Israel means. That's what the word means. And Einstein said the greatest enemy of truth is blind obedience to authority. Let us learn the lesson, and let the 70 million learn the lesson of what can happen with blind obedience to authority. Rather, let us replace that with a search for truth. We have seen today that the return of joy and love and hope is possible. And now, it's my pleasure to present someone who is the voice for the voiceless. The Peggy Adams Animal Rescue is a place that carries out Jewish values of kindness and compassion to animals. We will now hear about this wonderful organization from a very eloquent spokesperson. He's going to share with us what we can do, as this whole month we are devoting 20% of our proceeds to this wonderful organization. I also want to mention that we lost recently Edith Kutz, an incredible person who is multi-talented, who had such talents and abilities, and a philanthropist, and someone who was outspoken, and someone who brought people together. She belonged to our synagogue as well as to a church, and we honor her memory. And if we want to make her memory a blessing, let us bring all people together of all different backgrounds to do philanthropy, to do good works, to maximize our potential as human beings, and to bring everyone together. And now let us listen to the beautiful words of the leader of the organization, the Peggy Adams Animal Rescue. Shabbat Shalom.
Hi, on behalf of the lost, the abandoned, and the injured animals that need the help of Peggy Adams Animal Rescue League each day, I want to express our deepest appreciation for L'Dor Va-Dor and Rabbi Barry and your compassion for animals. Thanks to your support, in January, Peggy Adams will be able to save the lives of more than 500 dogs, cats, puppies, and kittens, just like Muffin here. We couldn't do what we do without the kind support of friends in our community And because of you, we will soon be opening a new state-of-the-art adoption center that will help us save even more lives. You can learn more about what we do and see all of our adoptable animals on our website, peggyadams.org. Thank you so much.
עולם חדש ראיתי עם אור של גאולה וכל הדמעות מכל הדורות הפכו לשמחה גדולה. עולם חדש ראיתי בלי מלחמות ודם וכל האויבים נהיו אוהבים חיילים השבים לביתם. מתי זה יהיה? מתי זה יבוא? הלוואי בקרוב. די לצרות, תן עוד כוח לבכות. מתי נתעורר לעולם המושלם? מתי זה יגיע בסוף? אמן בקרוב, אחכה לו בכל יום שיבוא, ואז יהיה העולם המושלם. מתי? I look at the world around me, people in pain surround me, and I long for the day when it all goes away, when the worries and fears are erased, where the broken hearts are mended, and the miracles never end, where children run free, all the nations find peace, and the world is a happy place. Oh, when will it be? When will it be? That vision I see, when our dreams become our reality. When will we wake to a perfect world? When, oh, when? How I wait for the day, I hope and I pray I'll never give up as long as it takes, until we wake and see a perfect world. When, oh, when? That vision I see, when our dreams become our reality. When will we wake and see a perfect world? When, oh, when? How I wait for the day, I hope and I pray I'll never give up as long as it takes, until we wake and see a perfect world. When, oh, when?
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Whenever we recite the Kaddish these days, we can't help but think of all the hundreds of thousands of people who have died in this country and throughout the world because of this horrific pandemic of the coronavirus. We hope that the vaccine will be distributed quickly and efficiently so that the scourge will finally come to an end. We also think of our loved ones who have passed away at this time, but we Jews are rather peculiar. We actually give thanks in the form of the Kaddish when we lose someone precious. Why? Because we Jews have such a respect and honor and reverence for life that even when it's taken from us, we still give thanks. And we also are inspired by their lives. We recently lost Jack Robarts, someone who inspired so many people to pay him tribute in a wonderful Zoom celebration of life where we decided to exhume his courage, his wisdom, his love of life and of people. And we decided that all of those great qualities should resume within our lives as well. On the Kaddish, we also remember all of the great heroes of the past. And as we celebrate this month, Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, I hope that we will stand on his shoulders and those of John Lewis and those of so many other great Americans so that we can see our way out of the swamp into the light of day. And as this is a beautiful, brilliant, bright day today, I hope that this is an augury of a beautiful, wonderful new year. We can accomplish this, my friends, by learning from our past and standing on the shoulders of giants. So now we recite the Kaddish. Yiskedal v'yiskedash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach ruseh v'yamlich malchuseh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beis Yisrael, v'agala v'yizman kari v'yimru amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah mivorach le'olam umei omaya, yisborach v'yistabach v'yispo'al v'yischomam v'yisnaseh, v'yisadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal Shemei keresha berichu, le'elam min kol berchasa v'shirasa, tushbechasa v'nechamasa, v'amiron b'yalma v'yimru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'rmamav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace and comfort bring peace and comfort to all who mourn. And may we recognize that within us, we have the potential to be that source of peace and comfort to others. And let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. We wish you all a beautiful Shabbat and a great new year. We are very thankful for all of our L'Dor Va-Dor family, Rabbi Barry Silver, Rose Lopater, Andrew Susman, Arnie Pickholtz, and you for watching and viewing this Shabbat service. L'Dor Va-Dor has some exciting online Zoom programs planned for the new year. We have a very interesting program about the swarming behavior of animals and their influences on science, technology, and business. This lecture will be presented by Jeff Cashton on Sunday, January 17th at 4 p.m. We'll have a Blessings of Our Pets by Rabbi Barry on Sunday, January 24th at 4 p.m. We will hold our monthly, more traditional Shabbat morning services on Saturday, January 30th and Saturday, February 27th at 10:30 a.m., led by our cantorial soloist, Andrew Susman and Rabbi Barry Silver. Along with these new programs, we also have our weekly Chats with Two Rabbis each Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. that we hope you'll also join in on. Rabbi Zvi Khan and Rabbi Barry are on there every week and provide us with an in-depth view of the upcoming Torah Parsha and more. We at L'Dor Va-Dor are offering a new and exciting Judaism to you, our Inspirational Judaism, the Judaism of tomorrow, uniting all Jews in harmony and love and building bridges with other religions as well. Our Judaism honors traditions, respects science, and celebrates spirituality. We provide these wonderfully creative services each week for us all to enjoy and celebrate Shabbat. We welcome you to join with us and become a member of our L'Dor Va-Dor Mishpacha for the new year. We hope you will. We invite you to continue our Shabbat celebration and join in on our Oneg Shabbat Zoom and Schmooze at 8:30 p.m. tonight and each Friday evening, where we can all be together, hear some beautiful Shabbat songs, and share some special time with each other. You can obtain the links for all of our services and programs from our L'dorVador.org website and our voice email newsletter. Also, check out our YouTube channel and our Facebook page for more information about L'Dor Va-Dor. May you have a spectacular Shabbat, a beautiful week ahead, and a wonderful new year 2021. Wishes for us all to be healthy and to stay safe. Shabbat Shalom with love from L'Dor Va-Dor.
I look at the world around me, people in pain surround me, and I long for the day when it all goes away, when the worries and fears are erased, where the broken hearts are mended, and the miracles never end, where children run free, all the nations find peace, and the world is a happy place. Oh, when will it be? When will it be, that vision I see, when our dreams become a reality? When will we wake to a perfect world? When, oh, when? How I wait for the day, I hope and I pray, I'll never give up as long as it takes, until we wake and see a perfect world. When, oh, when? Ooh, do, 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 do.
vision I see when our dreams become